The engineering genius behind the success of the Roman Empire. The birth of an empire. Long ago, in 753 BCE, on the banks of the Tiber River, a small city called Rome was founded. What began as a modest settlement slowly transformed into one of the greatest empires the world has ever known. For more than 1,000 years, from the Roman kingdom to the Republic and finally the empire, Rome expanded, adapted, and endured. At its height in the 2nd century CE, the Roman Empire stretched across 3 continents: Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. It controlled territories including modern-day Italy, France, Spain, Britain, Greece, Turkey, Egypt, and large parts of the Middle East. Yet Rome's power was not built by soldiers alone. Behind its success stood something quieter but far more durable: engineering. A student and a living map. One evening, a student sat at his desk reading about the Roman Empire. The words felt heavy: dates, places, names. Then he opened a map. As his eyes followed the red lines marking Roman territory, something strange happened. The map began to glow. Roads lit up like veins. Cities pulsed with life. Aqueducts shimmered as water flowed through stone channels. The student leaned closer, and suddenly he was no longer in his room. He was standing in Rome. Roads that conquered distance. The first thing he noticed was the road beneath his feet, straight, solid, endless. Roman roads were engineering masterpieces, built with layers of stone, gravel, and sand. They were designed to last, and many still exist today. These roads allowed Roman armies to move quickly, traders to travel safely, and messages to spread efficiently across the empire. The student realized something important. Rome didn't just conquer land, it connected it. Aqueducts. Water as power. The scene shifted. He now stood beneath towering arches stretching across valleys. Aqueducts. Romans understood that water meant life, health, and stability. Using gravity alone, they transported fresh water from distant mountains into cities. Public fountains flowed constantly. Bathhouses thrived. Sanitation improved. Engineering turned water into political power. Cities designed for control. Next, the student found himself above a Roman city, looking down. The streets formed a grid. Forums stood at the center. Amphitheaters rose proudly. Every city followed a familiar design, making administration easier and Roman culture stronger. Wherever Rome went, it built cities, and with them, loyalty and order. Concrete and the shape of the future. Finally, he stood before the Pantheon. Its massive dome seemed impossible. Roman concrete allowed architects to build larger, stronger, and more flexible structures than ever before. This single innovation made bridges, harbors, temples, and arenas possible, many surviving for nearly 2,000 years. The student understood now: Rome was engineered to last. Returning with understanding. Suddenly, the glow faded. The student was back at his desk, the map quiet once again. But something had changed. He wasn't memorizing facts anymore. He was seeing systems. He was understanding connections. And he smiled, because when you imagine history, when you let it come alive, you don't just learn it, you remember it.